will be very brief, is to deepen our consciousness in the context of the lecture we received. The keynote speaker, Professor Otto Basekman, the acting Vice Chancellor of Akwa State University, has placed it very well, succinctly. But there are dimensions that we have to discuss as it has to do with the dimensions of the personality in context. I would first of all start with Dr. Udemen Nana, because Nyong Essien was not just a politician, he was not just a statesman, he was a deep person in the context of writing, in bearing his thoughts. And upon his death, or before he died, he made a donation of his library to the University of Uyo, and that is why the University of Uyo hosts what we call the Nyong Essien Library as a special holding. And again, everything he had in the context of script writing and his thoughts rendered into books, pamphlets, and speeches, his talks and thoughts have been well taken care of in that library. So in the context of someone that has actually been the founder and also has deepened the reading culture using the Uyo Book Club, we call on Dr. Udemen Nana to please shed thought on the personality of Obong Nyong Essien as it has to do with things that pertain to his field. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. And I'll start by congratulating the member representing Uruan State Constituency in the State House of Assembly for thinking out and organizing this memorial. There is an Ibibio adage which has it that "Ke my friend tak ntaka togo Obong Nyong Essien adon tagi sierekam Obong Nyong Essien adon taguruan Obong Nyong Essien adon tagakwa Ibom Obong Nyong Essien adon tag Eastern Nigeria, which comprises all the 5 states in the southeast and all the 9 states in the present south-south zones of Nigeria. So I thank the organizers for bringing up this event as an attempt to remember the Ntak. This event is an attempt to reawaken Isherekam. If you know, Isherekam is a sleepy village without even access road. I'm sure this event will focus attention on that sleepy locality. I believe that this event will also energize Urani Yangatakbo and make it to reclaim its pride of place. So I really commend Dr. Itoretam for spearheading this renaissance. Often, it takes a daughter. Often, it takes a woman. Often, it takes a wife. This laudable event has taken a woman. The erudite scholar, well-respected historian, a man I see as one of my role models, has, in a very short but impactful lecture, highlighted several parts of that iconic statesman. The late Obong Nyong Essien, was self-driven. He was self-made. He was selfless. A well-respected community leader. And one of the few who traversed 3 different eras. The first era was the pre-colonial stateless society, where there were no states. That era was when ethnic groups governed their own jurisdictions through well-selected chiefs. Obong Nyong Essien was a natural ruler. Not really a traditional ruler, but a natural ruler, because his rulership flowed from his pedigree as a prince, a respected prince.
Okay, Dr. Nana, please. Because of what we have so much into it, yes, what I want you to bring out, which my position here permits me to tell a guide, as it has to do with your own field, which is a culture of reading. How has Nyong Essien, how has this phenomenon in what he did translated into writing and into reading in the context of what we now appreciate and hold today? If you can just summarize upon that, I think
I was coming to that.
Yes, our time is very.
I was coming to that because I know that Nyong Essien was self-made. He educated himself. The speaker brought it out in clear terms that he stopped education at standard 4. But this was a man who was a mentor to the great Zik of Africa. I have a letter written by Nyong Essien in 1926 recommending the late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe to undergo further studies in Howard University. And you need to see the letter. Clear English, clean English, great handwriting. And he loved books. And that's why today I really thank the University of Uyo for naming its library in his honor. He had a vast library, a collection of books. And what some of us are trying to do, because we've discovered that our people lack institutional knowledge because they no longer read. We'd like to bring back that aspect of Nyong Essien which seems to have been lost, promoting the love of books. Nyong Essien promoted the love of books.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, for every, those that want to, apart from the book that will be launched today, which is actually drawing so much from what we have in the repository at the University of Uyo Nyong Essien Library Special Collection, please, there is that library, and also Akwama State University under Professor Otto Basekman has established a center of Nyong Essien Center of Chieftaincy Studies. So we have a dedicated center to study Nyong Essien and his leadership attribute, and also to project it to the international system. A university is actually universal. So what is done in that center is actually very global, and we have to coordinate and put into that. And that is what Dr. Nana is saying, that we should also be able to pry upon the culture of reading, of which such a great soul did. Thank you very much, Dr. Nana. I'll go to you, Dr. Kwang, the gender historian. Gender, which encapsulates the male and female roles in society as determined by every society. Why was it Nyong Essien as a male compared to females in that era? And upon the consolidation of these, it's a female in the personality of the House member representing Oran State constituency that is pulling this up, and also the convener, so the coordinator is a female too, Professor Eno Basura. And you're coming here, I think, not just as a lone female here, but also in the context of this. What the presenter plays actually did not give us missing things as it has to do with coordinating and bringing women also in the context of this. And even when the BBO Union is constantly discussed, the role of women appears to be almost silent, not absent. So please, I would like you in just 2 minutes to put your thoughts into that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Well, I would like to say that women were not exactly silent. Even though most of the time when we talk about Nyong Essien, we talk about his achievements as it has to do with politicking and the rest. But I would really love to say that he was not silent on the issues relating or bordering on women. I also know that when sons were sent abroad to study, women were also sent. And I also believe that because he was someone who loved education, he would have also encouraged a lot of women within the BBO community to attend school. And just like you have rightly said, only one woman as a member of the Central Planning Committee, and then a woman taking up this responsibility, and myself, the only female panelist. So it goes a long way to show that women have not been silent and that they have been ably represented at every sphere and facet that demands such. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for her, please. Dr. Wekpan, the next goes to you, your field of African history and diplomacy. And I want you to locate Nyong Essien in the context of this, please. Thank you.
The context of
African politics and diplomacy. Yes, that's a microphone.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you look at the life of Obong Nyong Essien, he valued his culture and tradition. Yes, and diplomacy. He was deeply rooted, is the one that advanced the BBF relations. Okay. Right? And I also want to mention the fact that as the custodian of the largest library known on the African continent. Wow. In fact, I have photographs when a journalist, Uko Kubido, interviewed him in the 70s. If you look at the library, you would think that it was a university. So that really helped to inculcate that culture, reading habit. And he was a man who loved his culture and projected it at every level. So we can still say that he is still alive, even though he's dead.
Thank you very much. And the next to Dr. Nieto, who is a specialist in economic history. But yes, Dr. Nieto, Dr. Wemekpan has situated Nyong Essien as a homo diplomaticus. I want to situate Nyong Essien as a homo politicus and also a homo economicus, an economic man. And in the context where in this time, politics was without greed and politics was without interest, but rather group interest, and also politics was without prebendalism. I wanted to situate Nyong Essien as an economic man in that context, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the moderator. You know, man is first and foremost a homo economicus. That means man is an economic being. Even though it has been said that man shall not live by bread alone, that is half truth. Because the basic truth is that man can definitely not live without bread at all. In other words, man must work. Obong Nyong Essien, in spite of his vicissitudes of life, those inhibitions, he tried to surmount them as, you know, encapsulated in the public lecture. He was privy to the establishment of the BBO Training Company, Corporation, led by the Yangudo of Ikorotak Wicked, or Ikiri Yangudo of Ikorotak Wicked. That was the foremost corporation as established by the BBO people to, you know, take up all the palm oil, to mop up palm oil production and send same direct to America. Because America was lording over BBO producers, and not only lording over, they were shortchanging BBO producers. So Obong Nyong Essien for goodness sake, decided to ensure that the BBA people were manumitted from that kind of economic, slavery. Obong Nyong Essien was a teacher, he was a philosopher, he was, a politician, he was a mentor, and he was a legislator. To a very large extent, Obong Nyong Essien toward over virtually every aspect of what Ibibio life. He was the fellow that instituted the Obongship, and then some of Uran. So, in other words, he traversed all spheres of life, not only economic, because economics can never stay alone without politics. In fact, I'm here. I think, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. As I wrap up this panel discussion, I want to stress that in all that we could say, and maybe also speaking from the corner of a military historian, Nyong Essien was also one person that was used to validate or used to give support and credence to Biafra. It would show that Nyong Essien was actually picked up in 1968 from his hometown in Ikomeshet and taken and given a very respectable preservation in Enugu throughout the war, and after the war he was returned. And in that, I would say as a nationalist figure, Nyong Essien in African and Nigerian politics appears to be the best thing that happened to the black race ever since the invention of the printing press, or the invention of the gunpowder, the invention of the compass. And I would like this house to give a resounding ovation as I retire this panelist and respect panel for the person I call Obong Nyong Essien, who I have decided not to describe as late because his spirit lives with us and lives in this hall. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, team of panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together for this great team, this great panel of discussants, for what they have thrown up and what they have informed us. Very educative. Thank you. Take this to the paramount. And so we are gradually winding down, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please. At this point, I would want the paramount ruler of Iran. He is going to talk to us. He's going to give his goodwill message so that he can attend to other pressing matters. So over to our paramount ruler, Rt.Hon. See you in Onyensa.
Ye bab Uran, ye bab Uran, ye bab Ofruran, Kong Ukbabio, Ibana Bretum. Mboro Amindi Parliament Ruran. Obong Nyong Essien, even though Gadi died brilliant, I lived with him in 1966. And then me is 80. Kasaming put there. Now, my duratum, Anam. Yeah, Nambo is the name the old one for free. A common mean come there, turn the old one, and a mere is it. No, I see a young here. A dear me, and I'm then, and I'm then them. Maybe a friendly old one. The adopt say, and I'm me from time to time, year by year. 80 Obong Nyong Essien, Kedi Namaisia, 80 Erinami and Yaga Nam Denham on the old one. No, a petty away see mana, Abasia Ma, you mana, Fiaman and Yedi mana good one. And Bupering any man and then the old one. Came in Melcom Mufu, of free, city and a libere, ye might rate them, Kedi Namami, no. Abasi Young Mufu, Kadi Namami, 80 Yidiok, Asagada, Eddie, CD them for Abasi, Etienne Mufu, gave me again since. Let's
put our hands together to the paramount ruler of Iran. Thank you, sir. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the convener, Mr. Chairman, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up a very distinguished scholar for the book review. But before that, I want to acknowledge the presence of one man who is very distinguished in his own way. He is a trained public relations practitioner, a journalist. I must confess that I first heard of the name Obong Nyong Essien through his write-up. He was, a correspondent, and he worked with the Punch newspapers. At the point, he rose to become the foreign editor, and he was manning the foreign editor desk of the Punch newspapers. And in that desk, he liked writing so much about Obong Nyong Essien, and he is a former chairman of Oran local government. I have the honor and privilege to introduce and welcome to this meeting Honorable Obong Awawa Ekainang. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Thank you, sir. Thank you and welcome. On that heels, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me invite my own teacher from the department I passed through, Professor Friday Okon, for the book review. Please put your hands together for my own teacher, Professor Friday Okon, who will step up here and that he will, in a couple of minutes, handle this book review. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
The chairman of this occasion, Your Excellencies, spiritual and temporal, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to review a book entitled Mountain Beyond Mountains, The Obong Nyong Essien Phenomenon in Nigerian Politics and Heritage, a collection of essays, volume 1. Editors, Enobasi Urwa, Uwem Jonah Akpan, and Itoro Francis Etem. Place of publication, Uyo. Publishers, Jex Investments Limited. Year of publication 2025. Number of pages 399. Price not stated. Reviewer, Professor Friday Okon. Introduction. I feel really humbled and intimidated to be invited to stand before this audience of the creme de la creme of Akwa Ibom State and beyond to review a book of readings based on the legacy of Obong Nyong Essien of revered memory. And I do not take it for granted. It is the late revered writer Chinua Achebe who once said that, quote, a man who does not know where the rain began to beat him cannot know where he dried his body, end of quote. This statement emphasizes the importance of historical context, self-awareness, and the attitude of remembrance and honoring those to whom honor is due, and to celebrate those to whom celebration is due, in order to do our duty to our past heroes and heroines. This is the context in which this book presentation and the celebrations that have culminated to this event have showcased the remembrance and honor of a great man, a legend, Obong Nyong Essien of blessed memory. Obong Nyong Essien was truly a legend and an icon whose impact on the social, political, and cultural landscape of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and the nation at large was invaluable. I thank the organizers of this event for their foresight and sacrifices. May you remain blessed. Obong Nyong Essien meant different things to different people at different times. He had gone through the gamut of leadership and stewardship at different levels of life and came out as one who had been forged into steel by his experiences, and this paved the way for him to rise to the zenith of leadership as a natural ruler of Uyo division. Obong Nyong Essien epitomized excellence in service every step of the way. Beginning as a pupil, he became a teacher, a preacher, an interpreter, a civil servant, a trade unionist, a legislator, a village head, and finally, a paramount ruler whose jurisdiction covered the current 4 local government areas, namely Uyo, Nsretai, Urwan, and Ibesikwa Sultan. Such a man who had contributed immensely to the evolution and development of the Ibibio Union, core state movement, and the Nigerian nation state deserved to be honored and celebrated, which is being bestowed today in his memory. Though long in coming, it is still commendable nonetheless. The editors of this first volume of essays must also be commended for a job well done, for selecting and editing essays that cover a wide range of human experiences. Some of the interest areas in this compendium range from language issues, intergroup relations, education, philosophy, aspects of history, as well as to the impact of the man Nyong Essien, which was exercised on Urwan and Ibibio history. All the essays in this compendium are well researched and will be of high research value among academics. The editors, led by the distinguished Professor Enoba Surwa and the irrepressible Dr. John Akpan, have done a good job. Kudos. Content and organization. This volume contains 16 well-researched essays arranged in chapters dealing with various aspects of Ibibio history and culture, but most of them having some relationship with the legacy of the icon, Obong Nyong Essien. Below is a summary of the essays and the chapters they appear in. Chapter 1, Obong Nyong Essien and the Nationalist Movement in Nigeria, 1922 to 1960, written by Jeremiah Akpe, Faith Omaga, and Olawale Adeniji. Chapter 2, British Courts and Judicial Reforms in Ibibio Land, 1885 to 1935, written by Felicia James. Chapter 3, Nyong Essien, the Philosopher King, written by Odumaya Okpo. Chapter 4, Ekpe Society in Urwan, written by Basi Basi. Chapter 5, the Afara Phenomenon in the Reconstruction of Urwan History, written by Uwem Akpan. Chapter 6, Western Education in the Cross River Region, 1846 to 1960, written by Dominic Akpan. Chapter 7, Minority, Marginalization and Energy Insecurity in Nigeria, a study of the Niger Delta region, written by Amampa. Chapter 8, the Akobusem Phenomenon, Obong Nyong Essien's tool in rallying the people for self-emancipation and social integration, written by distinguished Professor Enoba Surwa, Friday Ode, and Ememobong Udo. Chapter 9, Socio-economic development in Ibibio Land. Socio-economic development in Ibibio Land, 1900 to 2000, written by Dominic Akpan. Chapter 10, Obong Nyong Essien, an African philosopher of education of the colonial and post-colonial Ibibio nation, written by Niobong Ekpo. Chapter 11, Obong Nyong Essien and the evolution of the Ibibio Union, written by Nietuk. Chapter 12, intergroup relations between Urwan and her immediate neighbors, written by Uwemakpan. Chapter 13, Conflict Management / Resolution in the Traditional Ibibio Society, written by Johnny Victor. Chapter 14, The Ibibio and Their Contributions to Nigeria's Evolution and Existence, written by Ini Etuk. Chapter 15, Urwan in Nset Territory, A History of Oboyo Group of Western Nset, written by Thomas. Chapter 16, as the last, has to do with gender sensitivity, The Women's War of 1929, written by Ima Bongudo and Itoro Etam. My duty as a literary critic is not to humor you with an elaborate expose of the gist of the above scholarly papers, but rather to tease your palate for the main meal by giving you snippets of what to expect in the pages of the book when you have bought the book for yourself. In view of this position, I shall make comments on 2 or 3 essays in the book for your elucidation. The first essay, which comprises chapter 1, is Obong Nyong Essien and the Nationalist Movement in Nigeria, 1922 to 1960. This one traces the impactful participation of Obong Nyong Essien in Nigeria's political development from the colonial period to the time of independence in 1960. The trio assert rightfully too that whereas other nationalist leaders who were Obong Nyong Essien's contemporaries like Herbert Macaulay, Olorunimbe, Azikiwe, and Awolowo had been lionized by their own ethnic groups for their significant contribution to the nation's independence and political development, the contributions of Obong Nyong Essien have not been remembered, celebrated, and accorded the honor it rightly deserves. That is the gap that their paper is out to bridge. 2 other essays, Nyong Essien, The Philosopher King by Odumaya Okpo, and Obong Nyong Essien, An African Philosopher of Education of the Colonial and Post-Colonial Ibibio Nation by Niobong Ekpo, all expound on Obong Nyong Essien's standing as a philosopher in his time and the fact that he contributed to the spread and acquisition of Western formal education among the Urwan people, the Ibibio people, as well as the whole Calabar area as it then was known. His influence as a teacher cum preacher was far-reaching. Another paper by Uwemakpan titled The Afara Phenomenon in the Reconstruction of Urwan History positions Obong Nyong Essien as a bona fide Afara man. This is done by partly tracing his roots to one of the Afara villages in Urwan, namely Isherekem. The argument of the researcher in this paper is that Urwan clan is predominantly made up of the Afara entity, and they share a common Afara identity and heritage with their other Afara kinsmen worldwide. By virtue of that, Obong Nyong Essien comes from this, by virtue of the fact that Obong Nyong Essien comes from this Afara lineage, it means that he was born a natural ruler. The essay, quote, Akobusem phenomenon, Obong Nyong Essien's tool in rallying the people for self-emancipation and social integration by the trio of Enobasura, Friday Ode, and Emebongudo, established the fact of common language use as a powerful factor that was exploited by Obong Nyong Essien to unite the peoples of Calabar and the mainland, now Akwa Ibom State, in their common fight for social justice, social integration, for self and national emancipation. Finally, one of the essays, Obong Nyong Essien and the Evolution of the Ibibio Union by Nietuk, traces the evolution of the Ibibio Union and the role Obong Nyong Essien played in the formation and stabilization of the Union, which made it arguably the first of its kind and the pace setter among ethnic unions in Nigeria as a whole. These and more are the menu of this great dinner. We need to pay for the intellectual meal when it is ready in order to experience the intellectual satisfaction that gourmets of good cuisine experience and relish for a long time to come. Recommendation. In view of the foregoing, I strongly recommend this book of readings to the general reading public and to our scholars in the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. While this work promises to be a worthy addition to everyone's library, let it also challenge us to research more on our local history and heroes. If we do not celebrate our own heroes, nobody will celebrate them for us, nor make mention of their important roles in national development in the annals of history. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen at this august event, my work is done. And therefore, I present to you Mountain Beyond Mountains, the Obong Nyong Essien phenomenon in Nigerian politics and heritage, a collection of essays, volume 1, edited by Professor Urwa, Dr. Uwemakpan, and Itorobong Etim. Happy reading, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Prof. Please, let's unveil the books. Let me invite the chairman for this occasion. Please, Mr. Chairman, you come over here. The Deputy Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, please join him. All the members of the Assembly, please, member representing Uyo, former member, House of Assembly, and who is celebrating her birthday today, Honorable Elder Ekaite Ebongokun, please join. Please, the two honorable commissioners, please join. The guest keynote speaker, please join. And the representative of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, please join. Let's just unveil this book now, so that we can complete this. Immediately after that, the Deputy Speaker will give us a keynote his goodwill message, and people will give their goodwill messages. And as you give your goodwill messages, please remember also that you have to support this project by making some commitments to this. Where's Prof? Where's Professor Friday? Professor Friday, good. Prof, come and help. Let's unveil this. Okay, sir. Where's Professor Enora? Chairman, Planning Committee, please come. Where's convener? Please join. Let's unveil this, please.
To the glory of God and the good of the people, we unveil this book in honor of our legend, Obong Nyong Essien, in the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Yes. Can we do something more? Everyone, just stand here, carry a book, a copy of the book.
Stage? Can we go on stage?
Can everybody go on stage?
Yes. Just line up on stage.
Let's line up there. Let's line up there. Please, sir, let's line up here with a copy of the book. And then, yes. Yes, can we just raise the book like this, Chairman, like this, so that we can take... can I have members of the family, the members of the royal dynasty, please? You guys have to join this, please. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Essien. Just hold on. It's Vice Chairman, please join. The Vice Chairman. Please. They're calling. They know the names better than I do. Paparazzi, are we good? Paparazzi, are we good? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I want to invite the Deputy Speaker who would go up there and give us his goodwill message. It's Rt.Hon.
Thank you so much, my brother Akanema. The chairman on this occasion, our leader and our father, the convener, my colleague, Honorable Dr. Obong Nyong. Please allow me to rest on the protocol that has been established. I first of all want to thank God Almighty for a day like this. And I'm glad that Akwa Ibom people have started celebrating our people. Because if we do not celebrate our people the way they deserve to be celebrated, they may not also have the national recognition that they deserve. So on this note, I want to thank very specially my colleague, Honorable Dr. Obong Nyong, for this initiative. Let me also thank the organizing committee for a job well done from the Thanksgiving service till today. It has been very unique. I want to celebrate and thank all of you. I want to thank very specially the children of this great man who has allowed us to celebrate their father. Thank you so much. And this reminds us that we have a lot of heroes past that we are supposed to celebrate. And Honorable Dr. Obong Nyong has now lifted the barrier and has set the pace. And very soon, I'm sure many others are going to join. Thank you for starting this. And I'm told, we know that it's going to be annual lecture. Thank you so much. I want to also thank the lecturer for the day, a professor of history of idea. Thank you so much, Prof, for very concise, very short and sharp lecture. Thank you. We in the 8th Assembly are very proud of Uruan people for the quality of representation they sent to the floor of the House. Since she arrived at the floor of the House, she hit the ground running, being a fulcrum of the 8th Assembly. there's no doubt that she's going to achieve much more for Oran people. So I want to thank everyone, especially those who have stayed till this moment, and may God bless each and every one of us. Thank you and congratulations again, my colleague, Honorable Dr. Obong Nyong Essien. Thank you. And a book has been unveiled. A book has been unveiled. I'm still negotiating the price of the book with my brother Akanema. I don't know how many copies 300,000 naira will be able to buy. So I'm dropping 300,000 naira to buy and enrich some libraries in some schools. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Chairman, Planning Committee, please confer with the Honorable Deputy Speaker. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Commissioner for Culture and Tourism is here. It will not be ideal if he does not give us a goodwill message. This has to do with him, culture, tourism, and all that Obong Nyong Essien represents. At this point, may I respectfully invite Honorable Dr. Enyeti to please step forward here and present to us a goodwill message. Please put your hands together for this great man, also a scholar. You know. And don't forget, we will sing a happy birthday song for Honorable Elder Ekaite Ebongokun. Today is her birthday.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Obong Nyong Essien, with due regard to the Deputy Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, with due recognition to the honorable member representing me in the State House of Assembly, Uwemedi Mo Osukwo, with due recognition to the progenitor of this project, Dr. Mrs. Itoro Etum, with special recognition to my brother and friend, Professor Obong Nyong, the Commissioner for Education, with due recognition to Professor Tobasi Akpan, the Vice Chancellor, Akwa Ibom State University, with due recognition to the traditional institution in Akwa Ibom State. I want to rest on the protocol that have been established already by the MC. I am so delighted, so honored to be part of this event. The organizers reached out to me as one of the custodians of culture and tourism in Akwa Ibom State and asked that I be part of this event. And I was so delighted, and I gave them my nod to be a member and a part in the planning process. So I'm happy today that the event is not only a success, but a pathway for us to begin to remember the heroes in our state and in our country. So on that note, I have a little note to read. It is with profound honor that I join distinguished guests today to celebrate the maiden edition of the Honorable Obong Nyong Essien Annual Lecture today. We gather to reflect on the life and leadership of a man whose influence continues to shape our political and cultural identity. Obong Nyong Essien was a rare blend of integrity, intellect, and courage. From his pioneering role in national politics to his deep commitment to our state, our culture, and heritage, he championed values that remain relevant to our development today. His legacy reminds us that true leadership is measured by service, vision, and the pursuit of the common good. He played a key role in the fight for independence of our country and Akwa Ibom State. The theme of today's event, Mountain Beyond Mountains, the Nyong Essien phenomenon in Nigerian politics and heritage, is both timely and inspiring. It challenges us to draw strength from the examples and recommit ourselves to building a society grounded in truth, unity, and progress. I commend the organizers, especially Honorable Itoro Etim, and other members of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly who supported this project. And I also commend the planning committee. I commend Professor Obong Nyong for stepping in and for leading from the front. I want to say that I'm happy and delighted to be part and parcel of what we've just started in Akwa Ibom State. On behalf of myself, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, I want to say a big thank you, and may the good Lord continue to bless Akwa Ibom, continue to bless rural people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Everything that has a beginning must have an end, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We must indeed thank the chairman for this occasion, Ntisong, who has been there from when we were to begin and has stayed with us all through. Ntisong, thank you so much. And before we call Ntisong to give us, the chairman's closing remarks, Obong Nyong Essien represented government. He was a man who left a huge gap in the fields of time. He was the first legislator you can ever think of in the entire what is today South and Southeast states.
Please to align myself with what the Deputy Speaker did, I will do a sum of 200,000 naira for some copies of the book. Thank you so much.
So, Obong Nyong Essien was the first ever legislator for the entire what is today known as the South and Southeastern states. And I told us earlier that he was a member of the board that ensured that a lot of development came, into what is today South and Southeast, like the University of Nigeria and Suka and the rest. And in this all, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have the political advisor to the governor of Akwa Ibom State. I will respectfully invite him to come forward with his goodwill message. Help me put your hands together for Honorable Prince Godwin Ntogode for his goodwill message. Please, sir, briefly. Thank you. Immediately after that, Ntisong will give us the closing remarks. Yes. You cannot talk about Obong Nyong Essien without talking about government. Government and government. So he is a government person. And he was the first person who began this process with the Mbogo Unity School. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ojeba Purwan, Ojeba Purwan, Bab Afruruan, Kong 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 Ukpabio, Ukpabio. Let me respectfully recognize the chairman of this occasion, our father, the Ntisong, Akwa Ibom, my son, Ntisong the fourth, with great respect, and said that it was just yesterday in the morning we decided to rearrange this event, and the committee mandated me to approach our father. And graciously, on hearing the name Obong Nyong Essien, he accepted at about 12 noon yesterday. He accepted to be here. And he has been here. Not only that, the message he has delivered, written, shows how he is vested with the literature of Akwa Ibom people, and I thank him for honoring the Uruan people and the legacies of our father, Obong Nyong Essien. Let me respectfully recognize members of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly who are here to honor one of their own, our mother and sister and our honorable member in the House of Assembly. Let me put it straight. The Uruan people are honored, proud to have Honorable Dr. Itoro Francis Etam. It is an indication that some of us who have female children should be very happy with ourselves. And those who have male alone should, well, be happy, but not too much. Because the ladies have shown that they are the final people to stand by us, stand for us, defend us, and promote us. What this lady has done is the greatest thing that anybody should do for the Uruan people. So we, on behalf of Uruan elders, stakeholders, let me say that we love you. And I can say on authority, because beyond anything, the Deputy Speaker knows. Oh, let me recognize the Deputy Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly in his own right, and two, as in fact an Uruan man, because he's just at the fringe of you know, so I can say that Uruan people will not let you go in a hurry. Uruan people will not let you rest in a hurry. You'll continue, and I will repeat this in the stakeholders meeting, and I don't think anybody will be able to overrule me. If this professor, this amazing tiger can honor us and come to give us such a succinct projection of what we attempted to forget. These are things we could have done, but that we did not do. This was the time for it, and I thank God. So God bless you. Thank you very much. Let me respect all protocol, but not forgetting my professor from you see what this kind of very, very undeveloped environment in Itam can produce. I don't want to call it by the name the MC called, but you know how they call your own area. But out of that, that place, God has produced you, and you are coming up, and your name is now written in gold. Thank you very much for honoring us. Honorable Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, we thank you, because you are Uyo man, and Obong Nyong Essien was the first paramount ruler of Uyo. Thank you for allowing that statute to continue to be at the junction of Oron and Wani Iba. It tells us of great things. Let me say that I had posted my impression of Obong Nyong Essien. I got to be challenged by this man when I was in Bong Barawai Bibio. And that's how I made sure I strengthened that scholarship program that is that was named and tagged after Nyong Essien. And that's why when we went to Lagos, and Professor one of these ladies that was serving in the EXCO and died while in EXCO from Etinan. He's he majors in history. Correct. My inspiration to establish Mbogo Unity School, I got it from Dr. Ikpe. When we went to celebrate the anniversary of Mbogo Barawai Bibio in Lagos, and Dr. Ikpe was the guest speaker, she spoke on the low esteem of an Akwa Ibom person because of houseboy, housegirl syndrome that was full of Lagos. She dramatized. She presented it in drama. She made us all on the high table to shed tears because, oh, yeah, your food is nice. So, it's one of you that cooked it. My house girl is from your state. We all wept. So when I came back, the Mbogom Parawaibio who were there will recall, I said to ourselves, from today, we must do something that will end the free movement of our people, availability of our youth to be hired as houseboys or house girls. That the only way is give them qualitative free education. And if they have a qualitative free education, if they don't turn out something else, there will be cooks and gardeners who will have handwork, will have a job, and will be paid salary, not houseboys. And so that is why people like us established that school. And I believe that my father here knows, and history has captured that throughout the building of that school, all the blocks there, the buses that were supplied, 32-seater 2, 18-seater 1, fully furnished, with scholarship to every child that was there. My company comprehensively wrote out the entire bill. Mbogom Parawaibio did not contribute one shishi. That is why Obong Ota wrote a passage, wrote a statement to me that is the greatest treasured document I have in my house. That means that the spirit of Nyong Essien has not died. But one of the greatest things I challenge us all here, and my friend the Deputy Speaker is here, we the Akwa Ibom people, we hardly celebrate our own though. We hardly support what is really very positive. When I said let us build that school, the cost of the launching to build the school and how people contributed, the cost of launching was greater than the amount we realized. That was why I decided to take the responsibility by myself and my company. Now, why do I say so? Sir, please check all the records of our important people. We don't celebrate them because our people don't believe that what you do should be appreciated beyond the mouth. May we please wake up and celebrate our own, because now that we have started, God will not help us to fail. It will help us to keep succeeding. This name will keep rising. Other names will keep going. I still stand here to profess that the man called Eyo should be celebrated. We have done so much to make the people. Sometimes when I met the secretary to government that was from Ibesikwo Sultan, the two of them, Professor Udo, I'm quoting, he's alive. The other one, the next one has died. All they said, he killed my brother. He was the cause of killing my sister. My father died because... I said, sir, I think Iwe has also committed sin, so. Owonowo has committed sin, so. Amadu Bello has committed sin, so. But his people pushed those negatives and celebrated the positives. Nigeria took over and gave them identity in Nigeria. But coming down to Akwa Ibom, we refuse to push the negative. We either kill the positive and take the positive up and say that Eyo is good for nothing. My professors, my academicians, hear me today, leaders. The day we do not call an assembly by the government of Akwa Ibom State into the stadium, by the government of Akwa Ibom State, that Eyo died and lived for. He's the reason why we are here today, the likes of Nyong Essien. If we do not say in the stadium, presided over by a leading man, a governor, that let there be, may the soul of Eyoyo rest in peace. We may not have leadership. We go up, we come down. God bless all of us as we hear this and do it in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir. Please, can we stop that for now, please? Ekpe, please, can we stop it for now, please? Please, please, please. Please, can we stop it for now, please? Please, please, please. Let's please respect our guests, please, and stop it for now, please. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to invite our chairman for the chairman's closing remarks. But as you come, sir, let me invite Honorable Obong Nyong Essien to please step forward and give us a goodwill message. Immediately after your goodwill message, the chairman will give us, a closing remarks. It will be abnormal for us not to call someone from that dynasty to give us a goodwill message, please. Please. Please, sit down.
Oje bab uran bab nyina mio mbok agbari oteti esebo nyu for idepe efere kwenge agbanam de ba ntro so mbok aminda ami in the first place I did adopt the existing protocol mbok mebo mekom political leader nyen eten togode ami asokoyemi woidaro mbo yen kiko mo eti iko yen bogo ke our member of parliament Anamankpomi odon de yemanaka si ase bote ke wo gbonem agba awo gbotem ni dia phone ese no yamana tem so ayeke taniko the political leader mboke I identify with that statement. Then the Amienda Army nya ede ngweredo some copies get 200,000 naira.
Thank you very much. That is a former member of the House of Assembly. At that point, let me invite our own T-Song, the chairman for this occasion, for the chairman's closing remarks. The food.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is a great day for us as a people. I was very happy when I came in here to witness the honor of Obong Nyong Essien as a starting point that even when they are alive. Let us not give befitting burials to our parents, but befitting living. So from now, it is my appeal and position that I respect the honor only our deceased heroes, but also the living ones. So make capacity for the wisdom and grace that he gave the convener of this occasion to start this process that we are going to follow. Come the planning committee, they have done a great job. I'm very happy, but I want to tell you, after Prince Ntugode Magatianiko, I felt sad. My spirit wept because of the attitude of ingratitude as a people. But I stand here before you today that henceforth that attitude will change. We'll begin to respect and honor those who have contributed to the growth of this country, Akwa Ibom State and Ibio Nation. I can say without any hesitation that what those people, the heroes, the dead ones contributed to the growth of this country, to the growth of our state, Akwa Ibom State, to the creation of this state, we have or do more than what we, the living, contribute today for the growth of our communities. So, in my opening remarks, I said, we are not here so much for the contribution that Obong Nyong made. We know them all. But that we will emulate what his history, his attitude, and contribution has brought to Ibibio. And that is to say with humility, to lead with wisdom and knowledge, to build a society where knowledge, justice, culture, and character converge for the common good. So it is the issue of the common good, especially to those people who are leaders and in governance. Let us emulate the principle of late Obong, the living legend, even though dead, Obong Nyong Essien. I said, you are afraid when I give you ready, I don't even you give free a KMM. And we take a man remark for those people who have been here from the beginning and have stayed till this moment. You love Obong Nyong Essien, you love Ibibio. You have a CDM mofo. In the name of Jesus Christ the Lord. Thank you, and God bless.
So thank you very much, the convener, Mr. Chairman, our very distinguished guest, the honorable commissioners that are here, members of the House of Assembly. It's been a wonderful day. We came today to honor a man that is a nationalist, a statesman, a man that is a pioneer, a man that is, everything you could ever think of. I want to thank everyone who began this day with us and have stayed to the end of the day. We do not take this for granted. We're very grateful, to even the chairman and entire members of the planning committee for making this happen. Thank you so much. Don't forget we have books here, and the copy of each of the books goes for 20,000 naira. So you can buy the books to your libraries, to your homes, and give to people. And don't forget, this is the inaugural edition. As we approach you for the second edition, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please be there for us. Make it more than it has been. Thank you, and thank you. I celebrate every one of you.